Hello fellow dragons, back again. Step 10. Step 10. So this is the very last step of 10 step, although we do have some work to do in order to finish the form. So this is now An, the double push. Double push is a little misleading because An is describing a downward energy, almost like akin to the force of gravity going down through a body. It's not an easy jin to get. It's a very aggressive jin, and it's been worked into the form and linked to double push. The problem with that is that double push then becomes something else. It becomes an external pushing force, which, although it has a link with An, the jin of An, the gate of An, you don't want to be trying to physically push something away from you. Again, as with press, if we're pushing out here, we're just using shoulder power. What we really need is to come in through or come up over, round, and we have that kind of moment there where it becomes the triangulation of the energy, that stopping point, which is just like a finger space, and then it softens again. Okay, so it's not that it becomes hard. How to describe these things? These things are very, very difficult to describe, and they were written that way to make it necessary for you to practice to understand them. Okay, plus they're actually quite difficult to understand because they're counterintuitive to the way you think you need to work and be when you are fighting. Okay, so don't forget Tai Chi. It's a self-defense art. It is a fighting art, but it's the art of stopping fighting as opposed to the art of fighting with fighting. Yeah, I'll leave you to ponder that. So we've got our Ji. To go into An, well, actually, let's just look at the posture first. So you've got this pushing motion here. The palms are soft in front of you, pointing away, if you like, and the wrists dropped, elbows sunk, shoulders relaxed, sitting down into the stance. And again, you have this stance where you've got the toe and the elbows in line, you're sitting down, you've got about 70% of your weight on the front leg, 30% on the back leg here. Okay. The temptation with double push is to reach out, stretch, reach out and touch. Okay. If you do that, you destroy your own structure. You end up, all you're doing is really just using physical strength. If you're bigger than them, you'll move them. Simple as that, unless they're very good, in which case you won't. So you want to avoid the kind of temptation to sort of push with the arms. The push again comes from the waist. So as with our G, our forward press, we're coming up over there, and we've got that kind of dropping into place. You have the same thing going on with An. But to get to An, we have to cock the hips first. So we're coming back. So this time we're reversing. We're coming back over, and there's this kind of drawing back, almost like roll back here, but you're kind of drawing back, coming up, sitting. And as you do, the hands open to shoulder width. So you have a different gait there. You have something known as split. There is an opening here. So through, split, splitting, relaxing the shoulders, sinking, opening the hands, and then as you come forward, you're coming up, underneath, and through again. So you're doing the same as you did with your ward off there. You're coming round, through, open, there. And you're dropping your wrists slightly, squeezing the elbows in slightly, and just sinking into position. So you have from here, round, through, there, round, through, there. And it's that gives the push its power. The gate of An is a straight line force or a downward controlling force. Okay, so this is a push. You're looking for a specific feeling of the energy flowing as you're coming forward through and opening up as you do. So you open shoulders, elbows, wrists, palms as you come round. And it's coming off the ground, so we're here, we've done our press, we've come back, so it's sitting in, releasing the leg, coming up through the hips, through the spine, releasing the shoulders, elbows, wrists, palms. Push. Okay, so avoid the temptation to come back and go with the hands, because that will not get you where you want to go as far as the Tai Chi version of An is concerned. Okay, so yes, as we go from toe kick, hold ball, turn, step, roll, walk off, circle up the left hand, turn the palms, weight back and roll back, then come forward, press on the back of the right wrist with the left palm, forward press, then weight back, opening up the hand. So basically from here, I'm turning my right palm to the floor, my left hand comes up over the top. I sit back and I open up the hands to shoulder width as I sit into my left hip. Again, I don't want to be all on one leg because I'm coming back here and I want to reverse it, coming forward and up. Okay. Plus, I'm probably dealing with a force coming straight at me. So if I come all the way back, there is the risk that my structure might break and I might get pushed over. So I've come too far back. So from here, I'm coming open. And this is clearing away, if you like. So if someone is pushing on your shoulders, as they're pushing at you, you're sinking back, but you're breaking their hold. So you're opening up the hands here, breaking their hold, and then sliding in and opening up, which creates that kind of motion. They're already off balance, and you just help them stagger away into the distance. So you're not actually trying to apply a huge amount of force. You're making it as easy on yourself as you possibly can. You're coming back, opening, forward, through. Okay, dropping, gentle, round. Okay, so, Peng Lu Ji An. Oh, yes, you will see, and you may have been taught a slight variation on that in grass sparrow's toe. You will see where people will come back here and they bring their hands down and come round and up. That is not incorrect. It is just a different way, slightly different application. The particular application that I favour and that I was taught is a defensive one where you're coming back and you're breaking a hold. So there is that kind of opening through. Here you kind of create that slight turning force in the shoulders, sitting down and then through and up. Okay, that is not wrong, but neither is coming back here, because you're doing the same thing sliding in and on the elbows, so you're creating more of a downward motion which can drop people to the floor by doing that, because their force is coming forward. You just redirect it into the ground. If they try and recover and push away, you then just come forward and just help them. If they don't try and recover and push away, they're already down, so you just come forward and just help them fall over. Yeah. So that's all you're doing there is basically the same thing. Now, this is not a pluck. Okay, a pluck is where you seize the feet and you create a shock through the body, a plucking motion through the body, which makes them sort of stagger and drop away. This is An. So from here, you're opening and dropping. So it's a controlling motion with the palms downwards. You create that downward force and then you're coming forward, through and up. And it can be here, through and up if you want. It really doesn't matter. It's what feels right. It's what you've been taught. Use what you've been taught, because your teacher will have an application or a specific reason why you're doing it the way you're doing it. Okay, so it's not me saying, oh yes, it should always be here and there, and that is the only way to do An, because that's not true. Yeah, it really isn't true. And if you want proof of that, look at a Chen style version of it, look at a Wu style version of it, Wu style, Sun style, Li style. All of them have different variations on these movements, but the fundamental principles of the gait remains the same. Okay, so it's a motion of energy through the body, a motion of connectivity, how the white tissue connects up and drops through, and it's a bringing of the mind into the body and making the mind be present with each of the movements that you do. So it really doesn't matter whether you've been taught here, even coming up onto the toe, I have met people say you shouldn't come up onto the toe because that puts you too far back onto this leg and therefore you're at danger of being pulled out. But actually, no. Because if you've misjudged it and you're coming through here and they continue to barrow through, you want to be able to step back. Okay, so that is a possibility. It's another way of doing it. So you're coming down through here. You're keeping your knee forward. If you don't want your knee coming back, because then if they stamp on that knee, you've lost your knee, basically. Coming through and up. At least if you keep your knee forward, you've got some kind of an energy that will take that hit. But you really don't want the foot pressed into the ground if you're sitting all the way back and your toes come up. So you need to be able to move it. So even if they do connect, you move it back and they miss. Anyway, so we've done our G. We take our palms to the floor. So turn your right palm to the floor, left hand comes over the top. You could, if you wanted to, use that as a kind of strike up to the throat. That would be an external version of it if you wanted to do that. Or it can just be coming up here and you're creating that kind of that block bridge. So you're not actually boom going out for the throat. You're just from here as they're coming in at you. You just turn your hands up and it catches under the throat. That creates that little bit of an interrupt. But you don't actually want to go through the esophagus or the windpipe, because if you break the windpipe and choke them to death, you go to prison for a very long time. It's not good. So you don't want to do that. You come over, so you're opening up. Again, you also don't want to do it because you might catch your little fingers. If you catch your little fingers and snap them, then you're in trouble. So here, you're just creating that little bit of a bridge, sitting back and allowing the arms to just expand and open. That presses down and creates an outward force on their hands. So they're coming forward here, you catch on the elbows and you create that outward force. That automatically brings them off balance as you're sitting in. So you're creating that opening. And now they're off balance. You've got the an here. There's downward motion. So if they're committed to a forward motion and you've redirected it to the ground, there, their own power will force them down there. Okay, so that's where you get it coming in here and then you can come up. From our purposes, we're just coming here, and then what we can do is read what's going on. We want the hands, the guards, to remain there because we may not have got enough. They may have realised what's going on and they may be pulling away already at this point, which is what we want. And as they pull away, you just help them. Okay, so they pull away, you just help them there, and you just apply that little bit of pressure with their momentum already going backwards, and you allow the jin to go through. Again, you're allowing the jin to go through, so you have to release the jin, and that's part and parcel of all of this. So you're coming through, you're releasing up through the legs, opening up through the body, stretching through the fascia, and out. Done our press. We open up the hands, we're sitting back into the hips. So this is coming where we came round with roll back, we came under and round, and then for press we came over. With this one, we're coming back this way. So we're coming round, squaring, and up. Okay. Hand movements from there, you're opening, round, releasing up through, press. Again, watch what's going on with the knees, because there's the tendency to sort of let the knees wobble and do weird things. Don't do that. Here, back, round, up. It is a very small movement, but incredibly powerful. You can make it bigger if you want to start off with. You can come back through, down, and then come up over. It's entirely up to you how you've been trained, what you've been taught, who you've been listening to, what applications you are trying to apply with this. So as I say, this one is here and is there, and then that is another version of press, if you like. There is a double push involved, and they tend to relate that to an, but the actual gait of an is that downward motion. You're allowing gravity just to do what it does. Okay, simple as that, coming through. And what you've got to remember is gravity is acting on the body coming at you. You're not projecting gravity through them. You're allowing gravity to flow. You're employing the mass of the earth. Yeah, you're creating the differential between the top clock and the bottom clock. Some very interesting videos out there on the nature of gravity. That's worth looking into. Yeah. If you want more discussion about that, let me know. Anyhow, that's all we have time for today. Practice, practice, practice. Have fun, and we'll put it into the other side next video. Take care.